Hey guys, welcome back to Mission Bob Crochet. I'm Bree, and this week I'm going to show you this Pioneer Woman kit. So I found this at Ollie's a couple weeks ago, and I am interested to see how this works out. Now this says it's a tea towel crochet kit. Now it says on here also price $14.35 is their price, and then the Ollie's price, I only paid $3.99 for this. So that's not a bad deal. Now I'm pretty excited about this. I haven't looked at any reviews, so I have no clue if this is going to be any good. But let me hold it up. It's got the list of everything on the back here. And I'm kind of a little curious though, because it says included in this kit is going to be a tea towel, 2 skeins of 2 yarn bundles, size 3, which I think is kind of nice because typically, like, if I get a crochet kit, it's typically a weight 4. So it's kind of nice. It's a 3. It says 1 crochet hook, size 7, 4.5 millimeter, 1 sewing needle, 2 buttons, 1 spool of thread, instruction booklet. Now, I'm kind of wondering though, because why would you need 2 buttons? Because, I mean, if you look at the towel here, you just need the 1 button. Like, to fasten it, you know, like you loop it over, fasten, boom. You really only need 1 button. Like, so if there's 2 buttons and there's 2, like, bundles of yarn, because they're calling them bundles, like, I'm wondering, does that mean that there's going to be enough left over so I could do a second towel? It only comes with 1 towel, but maybe there'll be enough that I could, like, if I have a towel at home, I want to put a topper on. So I'm interested. Let's go ahead and go to the table and let's take a look inside and see what's in there. Okay, here we are at the table. Let's open this up and see what we're working with. Ooh, they got that taped pretty good. All right. Okay, first off, here's the towel. That is, oh, it's very pretty. Now, this is just like your normal flour sack towel. Oh, there's some kind of, I don't know, a little bit of material, I guess, that they cut off. I'm just going to throw that away. But this looks really, really pretty. It's a big towel, too. Okay, so this is what it would, the length it would be. I can't even get it. If I put it this way, you can see it. It's a good size. It's like your normal towel. Now, this is, the material of this is kind of weird. I don't know if it's the print or what, but it definitely has that thin, you know, flour sack feel. But with all the print on it, it feels like it's painted. Like if you were to paint fabric, that's what it feels like. I like it though. Homegrown with love. All right. So I'm going to throw that off to the side. We've got our instructional booklet. There's a fair amount here. Looks like, you know, here's everything you're supposed to have. Your stitches. Looks like your normal stitches. You got your instructions. And this side's empty. Okay. Here's our skein of yarn. And that's definitely, I mean, if you look at this, it's definitely a 3. Let me grab something else here. Here's like a weight 4 next to it. There's definitely, you can see this one is a lot thinner than this one. And this is a blend. Let me look on the box here. Maybe it doesn't say. Oh, no, it does. Okay. So this yarn is a 60% cotton, 40% acrylic. So yeah, you could definitely see a difference there. It feels really different. Now I will say this feels like some of the better quality yarn I've ever gotten. It should be interesting to work with though, because I mean, it's definitely a weight 3. I mean, it's definitely thinner, but yeah, it's got cotton. Now it's not really scratchy. Some cotton can be really rough and scratchy. This, I wouldn't say this is soft, but this doesn't feel stiff. I mean, it's firm. All right, here's our other skein of yarn. We got our little bag here. Okay, that's everything out of the box. So inside our bag, we've got our crochet hook. We've got our 2 buttons, and that is a lot of thread. I didn't expect that much thread. And then we got our needle in here. So let's just slide that to the side. Let's take a better look inside this bag. Okay, here's the hook. And this feels kind of like my other like ergonomic hooks, like the ones I just traded in. It is marked with the size. Hopefully you can see that well. It says 4.5, which I appreciate. And it's an ergonomic, which is kind of nice. I'm starting to see more and more kits have ergonomic hooks in them. Okay, so here's the buttons. They've got little butterflies on them. And they're like super smooth. Kind of like a little like indented, if you can see that. Kind of like a little bowl shape. And then this is a lot of thread. And I hate sewing, so we'll see how that goes. And then we've got our needle. I'm assuming it must be a nice little metal needle. Yep, it's just, you know, just for your sewing part. Now, here's something kind of interesting though. Typically when you get one of these kits, it usually has some kind of needle for weaving in your yarn ends, but there's no needle for that. So that's kind of missed, because, I mean, let me open this back up, but this has a little, like a very small eye. I mean, you're not getting your yarn in there. So, I don't even, let me see if I can turn it a little better. Yeah. So you're not getting your yarn in there. It's a tiny, tiny little eye hole there. That being said, I mean, I appreciate you got the ergonomic hook and you have a metal sewing needle, which you kind of had to have a metal sewing needle if you expect me to do sewing. And there's a lot of thread there. I mean, the 2 buttons, which, like I said, I don't see how you'd need 2 buttons. I'll have to look more into it. You've got your yarn. But the fact that there isn't a needle to weave in your ends is kind of unusual, like with the kit. So I'm going to get started on this and I'll have to report back. I'm just going to give you a quick update, like I barely have gotten started. So apparently you only use half the towel, so that means you will be able to make 2 towels out of the kit. Also, so then it goes on, tells you your stitches, you know, how to make the things. But when it gets to the first line here, let me show you. It doesn't tell you to chain any, like before starting, other than chain 1 and then single crochet 32. Where am I supposed to be sticking those 32 stitches? I'm assuming there's a little error there, because like you're not sticking 32 stitches into that chain 1. That can't be how this is started. So I guess what I'm gonna do is probably chain 33. I'm going to count one of those as the first chain 1, and then I'm going to single crochet in the 32 chains that are left. Here we are in row 2, and it says chain 2, insert 3rd chain from the hook. But if we only chain 2, where's the 3rd chain? And then double crochet in 32. So we're off to a little bit of a rough start. So this is what the top's looking like, and this is what the flower's looking like, and it's supposed to look like that. Look at those side by side. They do not look the same. Like the swirl's fine, but the outer petals didn't come out right, and it didn't actually make good sense. So I've got to do some cutting of the tea towel and some sewing, and then assembling. Crochet part is all done. I'm tossing that to the side. And I just want to talk for a second about these clips. These are like supposed to be like for sewers to like sew things, but I'm finding them awesome for like when you go to like sew crochet together too. Like, I don't know why nobody ever told me these existed. I've always used like straight pins. Like, forget straight pins. These are the way to go. I am back with my finished towel. Now, I will say I have a lot of thoughts. I'm going to show it to you, and then I'll just share my thoughts after that. I think the towel is super cute. I like it. It's not the best quality, but it's a flour sack towel. Like, you're not looking, you know, it's not supposed to be amazing. I do think that it looks pretty good, other than the flower did not come out just like it's supposed to. Let me hold it up there so you can see. Theirs is definitely bigger. The petals are more defined, but, and my petals are like back here behind, like behind the swirl. The swirl looks right. Like, this part looks good, but the petals that should be coming out, I feel like should be coming out farther. and they should be more defined. Like they should look like actual petals. This to me looks more like it's a rose. So let me just show you. This is what I got left. So remember there were 2 skeins. This is still the first skein, the first ball. This is still the first one. I still have a full one here. Also, I kept looking at it earlier and saying it only comes with 1 towel, but there's enough supplies, it seems like, to make 2. That's because you cut the towel in half. So this is what's left, like I said, from the first towel. Have enough for a second towel. And there's a button in there. So there's enough stuff to make 2 towels. I didn't know that. But this is the other half of the towel. Like, you had to go ahead and cut the towel in half. You can see my jagged line there where I cut it in half. And so you have 2 identical towels. Now, I do plan on making the other one. I'm probably not going to follow the pattern because the pattern was not good. So let's get into that part. So, like I said, I'm happy to see there was enough stuff to make 2 towels. And remember, this kit was only $3.99. So the fact that you can make 2 towels for $4, you have all the supplies, other than, like I mentioned earlier, there was no darning needle for weaving in your ends. That was there's the basic thing, scissors, but since it came with a needle, I thought you'd use that. No, it wasn't that kind of needle. It was a sewing needle. Okay, so let me just share my thoughts. For $4, 100%, yes. The pattern, I would not trust. In the clips before this, you'll see, there's some iffy stuff there. And like I said, the flower didn't come out the way it should have. Even though the first towel didn't come out perfectly the way I thought it should and would, I do have everything to make a towel the way I want to make it. Because, obviously there's plenty of yarn. There's an extra button, and I have the other half of the towel. So everything's there. I think as far as the kit, the hook was exactly what I would expect from an ergonomic. The button, I really liked the cute little, it wasn't just a plain button. Having that cute little butterfly, that kind of elevated the whole experience. I am disappointed the flower didn't come out that great. So in my opinion, I would say, yes, worth buying for $4, but just know that the pattern is not very good. Obviously, I figured it out and I got it done, but there's also some things that I'm that's a little sketch. Because, okay, part 1 is a simple towel topper. You just crochet in the top. And it says it takes 2 hours and 40 minutes to do that part. So it took me less than an hour to crochet the topper. And then the flower, it says, where was it on here? The flower, it says, should take about 30 minutes to make. And that being said, let me just tell you, I'm a slow crocheter, and it didn't take me 2 hours and 40 minutes to make the topper. It took me less than an hour. And that was with me stopping and starting to because there were no stitch counts at the end of a row. So, if you kind of have an idea of how many stitches you're supposed to end up with, then you can kind of fudge your way through. But this didn't have any. So I would stop and count, it would say single, double, double, single, So I would count it up. Pretty much I did that in every row. There's only 19 rows. But I would count it up and just make sure I at least end with the right stitch count. So to just kind of make sure that I was kind of on track, even if the instructions weren't that great. So that was kind of disappointing. So like I said though, less than an hour to make the topper, and I would say for the flower part, maybe 15 minutes. So you could knock out the entire thing. I would say with the sewing and everything, me, even who's a slow crocheter, the entire thing could be done in under 2 hours. And they're telling you that the topper alone is going to take 2 hours and 40 minutes. And I'm a slow crocheter. Like I said, I've been crocheting for a good while now, but I've never developed speed, and I don't think I ever will, to be honest, because I'm just not a fast crocheter. That's just the facts. Some people are just amazing and they're fast. Good for them. I wish I was, but I will never be, because my brain just I'm one of those people that has to make sure that each stitch is perfectly aligned and perfectly the same size, and all the numbers are or come out perfectly. And, you know, like I don't have that kind of brain to be super fast. So, I mean, if I'm telling you I'm a slow crocheter and I can knock out the whole thing in under 2 hours, which I did, like, if you're a slow crocheter too, you should be able to. And I would venture to guess, if you're a fast crocheter, that you might be able to even do it in an hour or less. Like, because I said, for me, it was under an hour for the topper part. So I'm grateful though that it comes with the extra things. Now, would I say that at $15, which is what Ollie's has on here, their price, you know, like the retail price at $15, I would say probably not. At $4, yeah, 100%, because the towel itself, like, you can't get 2 decent towels for under $4. So, I mean, even if you bought it and like, you're like, ooh, I hate this thing, at least you got this towel out of it that you can use. And like, there was plenty of supplies. And like I said, I mean, if you're a seasoned crocheter, you should be able to go ahead and have no problem going ahead and making something out of it. I mean, you should be able to make 2 towels. So, but yeah, for $4 at Ollie's, totally worth it. Bottom line, at $4, 100% worth it. At $15, iffy. Oh, something I almost forgot to mention. The yarn itself, I really liked working with this. Like, it wasn't too, like, scratchy. It wasn't, like, it didn't fray on me. Like, the yarn was good. Like, let me show you here. I mean, this is, you can see this is where I cut it. I'm trying to get a good hold on it. This is where I cut it. And, like, it, you can see it just, it's nicely, like, twisted together. It's not, like, falling apart all over the place. I mean, if I stand here and, like, twist it and pull it, it's made up of all these, like, tiny threads. But it's so well, like, twisted together that I didn't have any kind of, like, splitting or fraying. I mean, you saw me stand here. You saw me sitting here, like, and I was the one that did that. When I cut it, it was perfectly fine. So that's something else I wanted to mention before. My final thoughts are, if you can run to Ollie's and get this for $4, 100% go for it. At $15, it's questionable, but at $4, I mean, $4 is a steal on this. Yarn is good. Even if you only end up with a towel out of it for $4, you end up with a towel out of it. So, anyways, though, thank you for tuning in and hanging out. Until next time, take care.